Cuomo Primetime is back with me, your host, Andrew Cuomo. Good evening. After leaving the governor's mansion, I decided, well, my brother seems to be out of work. He needs a hand. I'll give him a hand. And he'll give me a job. So it works out well. Hand job. Tonight, I'm joined by a very, very special guest. That is the very first guest of any significance because every CNN contributor on the show has been absolute dog shit. Please allow me to introduce to you the man who needs no introduction, President Biden. Mr. President.
Billy.
Mr. President, it's Andrew. Andrew Cuomo.
Billy, it's been too long, Billy.
Mr. President, it's not Billy. It's the former New York governor, Andrew Cuomo.
No, I missed Billy. I missed you. I missed you too.
Anyways, Mr. President, we're so glad that you're here with us today because we had a whole lot of things to talk about first. First of all, it's the end of the year. How would you say, Mr. President, is your first year going?
Well, you see the way that I did this year, even with all of the things, I would say that the American people are pretty happy.
Pretty happy with what, though, Mr. President?
They they get 2 scoops and their groceries and gas is there. They're happy. The American people are very happy.
Mr. President, your poll numbers are really far down. It seems as if that the American people are not happy. What do you have to say to that?
Billy, you don't need to bring up the poll numbers, Billy. Billy, you know that the American people are happy. The polling numbers, it's all they bring those people and they ask 2 questions and you know how it works, Billy.
Okay, moving on, Mr. President. If you say so. I mean, we're going to talk about a little bit more because one of the things that you campaigned on, which I think, to me, as a governor of one of the biggest states in the union, one of the finest states, one of the cleanest states,
Vermont, yes.
No, New York, of course, it's New York. Mr. President,
what?
You do not know me at all. What? What's going on here? Mr. President, you said this week that there's no federal solution for COVID, and that it must be solved at the state level. Who had the response to COVID on the state level that was the best? And why was it me, Andrew Cuomo?
Now, you see, the reason why I wanted to go to the states is because this is the essence of what we are as a country. And the way to fight COVID is to make sure that they fight COVID.
Oh, Mr. President, I'm sorry. You're going on for too long. I didn't know what to think of that. First of all, but you never answered my question. Why was it me that had the best response to COVID?
What was your response to COVID, Billy? I mean, I don't think you really had a response.
Well, Mr. President, I had a response, obviously. Now, if you were in my state, would you even be president? Who's to say?
I mean, it depends on what nursing home you put me in.
That's true. Mr. President, you see my humor. So, first of all, why do you think I would be a better president than you?
Well, Billy, I don't think that would actually happen, or there's no the American people are happy with me as president. Okay, we don't need to compare. Billy.
What if we were to compare you to your predecessor, who, if Donald Trump was still president, do you think he would have handled this better than you did? Which he obviously
I would
have.
fight that guy outside any gym any day. The whole reason why we're in this mess in the very beginning is because of Trump.
Okay. Finally, Mr. President, my final question to you is, how did you get away with it? You sexually harassed women in your office for all these years, and not a single one of them was successful in bringing you down. What's your secret?
That I go after the under 14.
Fair enough. Mr. President, thank you so much for joining us. And Habibis, welcome to another episode of Habibi Power Hour.
Look, there is no federal solution. This gets solved at a state level.
I'm a Fauci groupie. I'm a thrice vaccinated mask adherent. I buy KN95 masks by the, caseload.
Is an emergency Christmas Day warning to President Trump. You are either completely ignorant or you're one of the most evil men who has ever lived to push this toxic poison on the public.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What's going on, Habibis? I'm Siraj Hashmi.
I'm Jay Kobbe.
And we're the Habibi Bros. Welcome to another episode of Habibi Power Hour, our final episode of Habibi Power Hour for the year of 2021. How you doing?
For 2021.
Yeah. 2021.
2021.
What did I say?
What did you say?
I said 2021.
2021.
What did you think I said?
What?
Okay, anyways, moving. Are you still in character, Jay? Oh man. Big week. And that there was absolutely no news until like an hour or two before we went live, and that is Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty of helping Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse girls. Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Anyway, so Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty on 5 of 6 counts, and that was including Jay, you want to help me out here? I'm illiterate.
Yeah.
No, she was found guilty on 5 of 6 counts of sex trafficking of a minor. That carries a maximum prison sentence of 40 years. They say she could face up to 65 years in prison, being that she's now been convicted of 5 out of 6 charges. Who said women can't do it all? We live in a man's world, and I just have to tip my hat to Ghislaine Maxwell for finally, doing what every man has been accused and convicted of doing. Who is
every man?
Stood trial? Not every man.
Is there something you want to say?
Yeah, no, for sure. Obviously, big shout out to our dear Habibi Eliza Blue, who has brought a lot. She never actually worked on this case. She's brought a lot of attention to the case, and she's been working very hard with a lot of the survivors. And we're very happy that she has entered our lives in the year of 2021. And cheers to her. And then and may all the victims of sex trafficking, human trafficking, find justice in this life.
Inshallah.
There's Eliza tweeting, crying tears of joy with a Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell survivor as the verdict came down. It was probably the best moment of 2021 for me. Amen to that. Jay, one of the things though that's interesting, and I've seen some criticism about the actual verdict. There was actually a tweet from Sagar and Jetty of Breaking Points with Crystal Ball, and he tweeted out something along the lines of how now that the verdict is out, he tweeted out that the verdict. Let me send it to Spencer, our producer, who should be double fired
for not having this already ready.
For not having this already, I'm sending it to him so he can pull it up in the private chat. And I'll read it out to you right now. He says, this verdict is great, but from the jump, the trial's narrow focus destroyed the last real chance to expose Epstein Maxwell's connections with the most powerful people on earth in open court. There probably won't be another chance, and maybe that was the whole point. I'm not sure if he has that. He does have that. But Jay, there are two sides to this coin, because on the one hand, you get this, what happened today, in that she is found guilty of her sex trafficking crimes. And then the other side of that coin is she walks and you never get any answers to anything. And there's no justice for any of the victims.
I don't know if it's only those two choices.
What is the third
but
choice?
I think the system is so skewed for these type of people who are in power that it's very hard to be able to pinpoint and have them have their day in courts. Now, it doesn't go to say we do need to have more information come out before we can totally label every single one of the people who ever knew Epstein or flew on his plane as being as part of this ring or whatever. But I'm pretty sure that there are at least 2 or 3, maybe even 4 of those names that have, dipped their toes, to say it mildly, into
into Epstein Island,
into little children.
Oh Jesus! And we're demonetized and canceled. Anyways, Jay, it's the end of the year, and let's celebrate. We actually got a very perfect montage put together by Spencer. Spencer, get in here.
What's good?
How you doing, Spencer? Spencer Sachs, our producer, who should be fired. I am going to go ahead and he prepared a montage video for us. We want to peep it, huh?
No, I was going to say, how do you feel after going through hours of HBH footage? Are you a change?
What's worse than a boomer and a boatload of cringe put together? Like if they had a baby of cringe and boomer, whatever that is, that's how I feel.
My date with your mom.
That's what it probably feels like.
Boom. So let's watch this. Jay, have I told you I actually applied to Howard Medical School? Did not get in, and it's not because I'm not black. And then it gets better. Gene Wu then tweets out, "My fifth meal as a fugitive. Delicious." And look at that. Axios then says, so "My fifth meal as fugitive was Dan's mom's juicy back door." That's Jay. I'm just gonna anytime my wife.
I'm so drunk right here too.
I just went
and use the
Yeah, I
toilet
think
to
this is just
massive shit. I'm
a
just gonna
montage
say
of you being
that question is a violation of my HIPAA rights.
Well, then why didn't you flush?
Again, a violation of my HIPAA rights. Check this shit out.
All right, who's dancing?
Oh no, this is only going to get us demonetized.
Oh my god.
But I love how he's like, I'm Italian. It's what we do. We harass women in little dark rooms and intimidate them. That's what Italians do. What can I say?
That's what we do.
Hey, and then we throw the pizza and go harass women. That's what we do. Everybody, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the new and improved Taliban. We're here to be more inclusive. We're here to make sure that everyone is represented the way that they should be. Welcome, Habibis. And I would like to be taking questions.
Never underestimate the power of a white liberal woman to make everything about herself, Jay. Essentially.
100%. God damn it. You saw me take a sip.
He says, hello, Habibis. I just joined now. I just add reading about hate crimes against Muslims and Sikhs after 9/11 is devastating. Oh, man. Yes, I do know about that first Sikh victim. I don't know why I read this in a fucking Pakistani accent.
Well, it's because you're racist.
Oh, look at the stash.
Jay
Yeah.
says if Jay was a border agent, he wouldn't be riding a horse. He'd be riding a donkey, so he could just tell everybody he rides ass.
That's fine. I don't even have to ride a donkey. All I say is I ride Dan's mom, and people understand.
President Trump is into butt stuff.
MashaAllah. I
Mashallah.
always knew he was a true leader. Well, I mean, true strength is taking it up the butt with no anesthesia. That's true strength right there. That's absolute leadership.
Absolutely, essentially 100% leadership. Bathroom.
Sir.
Hello?
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Where are you right now?
On my lunch break.
And they expect like the price of gas and of oil and fuel to remain the same. And then now they're like, oh, pretty please don't do that. Please don't. No. Why'd you do that? No, please don't. Please don't. No.
Is it going up? I'm sorry.
Please,
I'm sorry.
No, don't.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
Did we make it?
Don't
Did we
raise
make the price
of
go up?
gas.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm so. Did we do that? I'm sorry.
I don't wish any ill will on him. And in fact, he is still a family friend, so I'm not gonna speak ill of him. But
I can. He's a little fucking bitch.
There's the
Fucking
oh god, it's so bad.
Why does Jay work and he just looks like a California leftist?
oh, thanks. Hey,
Some lightheartedness. That's what we need here. We're all family here. We love you. Come on, Jen. Give me your question. What do you need?
Jen, I have two questions for you. First of all, who is the best president and why is it Biden?
Eliza
Welcome to your show, co-host.
Thank you. Right now, Siraj, I think it'd be a good time. We're actually going to have an intervention with you. So,
shit.
as you know, Jay and I have already taken over your show, so this is going to be your last. So I hope you enjoy it. And from now on, it'll be Habibi Bros.
Jay and Eliza.
Yeah, just minus you. So
Let's change your tweets up. You want me to do this in Pakistani accent?
No, do it in your Jen Rubin accent.
Fox News hosts Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham have now reconfirmed their views that the violence on January 6th was unjustified and unacceptable. Mark Meadows turned over many texts he's received to the committee,
Hannity and Ingram are standing by the text they sent to Meadows on January 6th, urging that President Trump take immediate action to stop the violence.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Spencer, for putting that together. That was beautiful.
For having to go through all of that.
Having to go through all that footage.
And that's a lot of footage to go through. So
the speed at which I put this on, which was 2 times speed, made the intro wild. Just every cold open of the intro was nuts.
that would make that honestly that makes sense.
It does. It does. It would make you go nuts.
So Jay, since this is our end of the year show, let's just get through some headlines before we talk about the year as at sort of like an end of the year wrap, even though we literally just watched our end of the year wrap video.
Mm-hmm.
God, I do everything out of order. I'm such a boomer. Anyways,
it's what brings character to the show. Your boomerness.
Exactly. So, we'll find out more about Ghislaine Maxwell as things sort of move on. But the very first thing that we need to highlight is the fact that the CDC seems to have made all the libs mad. And I say this because now they've reduced the protocol, the isolation period for those who test positive for COVID from 10 to 5 days, specifically for people who test positive and are asymptomatic. Now, the CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, acknowledged on Wednesday that human behavior played into the latest guidelines for how long individuals with coronavirus should quarantine. She added that people need to get back to work. And then she also went on to say that it really had a lot to do with what we thought people would be able to tolerate, saying that a majority of Americans who are isolating just need to get back at it. And they're just making sure that while everyone's sort of adhering to some level of social distancing, people who are maximally infectious probably still won't be going out. So, or those who are still in fear. So, when did this administration become the Trump administration, Jay?
When they saw the internal polling for the midterms, because it's pretty crazy how quick everything's changing right before we get into 2022.
Big Rage says, Spencer, you're sacked for not adding Prince Harry's second wife, Princess Khadijah, which is
God, yeah, that was great. that was essentially great.
Essentially 100% great. Anyway,
and it's really crazy because you have Fauci coming on himself. Yeah. He's also coming on himself and talking about it. And in ways, he is coming on himself.
All over himself.
All over. Well, I mean, he's
not
old.
Not even
he's
showering
90,
after?
He's 90-something years old. Accidents happen.
Accidents
gust of wind. You take too many Viagras. You come on yourself.
Yeah, totally. Well, Fauci, I mean, I have a clip of Fauci saying, you want to hear this shit?
Yeah, let's hear it. Of him.
The purpose of it is that given the wave, the extraordinary, unprecedented wave of infections that we are experiencing now and will certainly experience more of in the next few weeks, that there is the danger that there will be so many people who are being isolated, who are asymptomatic for the full 10 days, that you could have a major negative impact on our ability to keep society running. So the decision was made, although it's not completely risk-free, of saying, let's get that cut in half so that we could have 50%, namely half of the 10 days, and 50% of that time, people can actually be out with a mask in society. The purpose.
Sorry, I was about to end it, and then he ended it by himself, and then I was like, well, time to play it again.
Man, it's fucking hilarious that he's coming out and saying exactly what people have been talking about like 18 months ago, even 20 months ago almost, that when the Delta variant hit, it's really time for people to stop wanting to shut down everything, because it did not, shutting down everything the way that we did and having these people go into a hysteria. I mean, they are still hysterical. Like there's still something wrong with them mentally because of all of this that happened. And they're the reasons why they're like that.
Right.
There's going to be
meltdown.
Yeah, the leftist, but it's not only leftist meltdown, the anxiety on kids. And I think kids, we're going to see a huge repercussion on the negative impact on kids that all of this stuff happened to. And I honestly think that now that we're in an election year, that we're going through this, they know that their messaging from the very beginning has been horrible and people are sick of it. So they need to do some sort of switch. So
yeah, I'm trying to remember where someone tweeted this out about how, kids will remember like 12 years of their childhood, and we're about to enter year 3 of the lockdowns. That's 25% of their childhood that's basically being hunkered down in a panic for lockdowns, for COVID, for a disease that has been minimally that has been minimal in its damage against children, for one. Right. And I mean, maximally damaging, obviously, to people with comorbidities and who are in elderly populations. But now that we have Omicron, Jay, I mean, it's highly contagious, but it's not nearly as damaging to our immune system. In fact, I think Israel was contemplating including or using a 4th booster, but then scientists were pushing back on it, saying, well, this is going to prevent people's immune responses from actually being able to combat the virus, because if you keep them on a crutch for so long, your immune system turns to shit.
Mm-hmm. And right. And I honestly think the damage has already been done to kids of that generation.
100%.
Essentially. All of and it's really funny because when you had people come out against these lockdowns, against closing schools, against, not allowing kids to go to parks, they were called murderers. They were called grandmother killers.
Grandma killers, yeah.
They were called all these names in the book. And we are getting reports now showcasing how damaging all of these policies were, from masking to closing it down to all of the stuff that they wanted to put into place. And I really, really think that this needs to wake people up and destroy teachers' unions. Teachers' unions need to be destroyed completely. They don't give a fuck about the education of your kid. They don't care about the well-being of your kid. They're there to protect the administrators and their fucking paycheck, and also to funnel money to Democrats with your tax-paying money, and to keep pedophilic teachers in their positions. That's the best teachers unions do. They don't care about your kids.
As Spencer's saying in the private chat, there have been studies I've seen that said in a group of kindergartners, the top of the class were at least 2 years behind where they should be developmentally. Again, that's the top of the class. Now, obviously, one of the things that kids learn, obviously, are very, it's not just book learning. A lot of it is social learning. When you have people in mass all the time, you stunt the growth and development of children who pick up on social cues, who pick up on facial expressions, who simply pick up on their peers and their teachers' vibes, and their parents' vibes as well. And basically, you cannot progress very far when you stunt their growth in that regard. And I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all that something like that would be the case. Of course, there's probably going to be a lot more studies showing how just damaging, not from a public health standpoint, but just from a social standpoint, how fucked this whole thing made us, given how bad the response from federal, state, and local governments have been on COVID. And everybody freaking out over Omicron, like, some people are just addicted to fear, brother. I mean,
it makes them feel like they have some moral high ground because they can pretend there's some sort of like victims throughout life, that their worry and anxiety gives them justification to rule what you can do in your life and shit. And it was really hilarious because when this came about, all of the type of, scientific research, all of the things about, child learning, how facial expression is like 90% on how they learn how to speak, and all of this kind of stuff was thrown out the window. It's just, it's so insane.
It's mind-boggling how they're trying to retcon the whole situation like it's a Hulk movie or a Spider-Man movie that went like AWOL, and they're being like, oh, actually this has been our position the entire time. Everything that happened before, you can't blame us because we didn't know that much about the virus. Look, Jay, I think we stated perfectly clearly in June 2020 when the riots were breaking out during the summer of 2020 in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, that everybody gathering in public and the public health experts and scientists and epidemiologists declaring that racism was a public health issue and that we need to be out there in the streets combating against police brutality, combating against Black people getting shot and killed in the streets, and whether by white people or by police, doesn't matter. It became one of those things where, like, wait a minute, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Right. Why are we all of a sudden okay with gathering in public when we should be adhering to what the initial public health guidance was, and that was hunkering down so that we don't spread the virus and combating
social distancing,
police brutality, and trying to fight against systemic racism. That became the sole political goal. And I mean, the whole thing at that moment, I realized that everything our public health experts were saying was probably a lie. That's at least when my trust started to erode in public health.
Oh, absolutely. Especially, like, I'm sorry, is twerking on top of each other in the streets of Chicago better against the virus?
Right in here,
do it, baby. Do it. You got to get onto it. Yes. Right on top of each other. That's what they were doing in the middle of Chicago when this thing was at its peak. Like, not even when Delta came in. It's when, like, the original coronavirus was there killing your grandmother in the New York fucking home and shit. And then they turn around and wonder, why does the public mistrust our expert opinion and stuff? It's because you are so blatantly there for an agenda, for a political agenda. You're not there for the well-being of the public or the health or our public health. You're not there for any of that. You're there to push a narrative. You're there to push a political agenda, and you're there to try and push the public opinion in a way that goes with your agenda. You're not there to save us. You're not there to help us, and you're not there to protect us. And that's why people woke up to it.
It's become one of those things, Jay, that I think about quite often, about how none of the things that happen without an agenda. A lot of these things that you see being pushed, like a narrative or something, ultimately there's an agenda at hand. And I think it doesn't take a rocket scientist or an epidemiologist or what have you, someone with a medical school degree to please my father and make
exactly. I was going to say to make our dads proud.
to make our dads proud in order to figure that out. Because ultimately, Jay, when we look at how things have shaked out, it's so, once you see it, it's very difficult to unsee. And everything from, critical race theory to, vaccine mandates to mask mandates. I saw, speaking of vaccine mandates, and I'm not an expert on sort of what pharma companies are liable for, but there has been some discussion, some debate about how vaccine mandates, or at least giving vaccines to kids, would basically circumvent the liability that big pharmaceutical companies would have if anyone who gets the vaccine should say have a very bad side effect from anywhere from, deformities to death, you name it. And somehow giving the vaccine to children, there has been chatter out there that is a loophole for pharmaceutical companies to circumvent basically having any liability. That's why there's this massive pushback to give vaccines to kids. Have you heard anything about that?
I mean, when I put my tinfoil hat on, I believe it, because it makes no sense to have a huge push on children to get the vaccine, other than that's another $25 to $40 into the pockets of big pharma. Because what's the cost of the vaccine that the government pays out? Isn't it like $25 or $40 per shot? That's what it is. So
it's between $32 to $37.
And now, and teachers unions are pushing that kids who aren't susceptible to this virus need to get vaccinated before they go into school. It makes no sense for them to do it, and it makes no sense for the kids to get vaccinated over this as well. It's just unions are there to make sure that the employees can be as lazy as fucking possible and get paid for it. It's just, that's why I hate unions. I hate them. I think they're fucking useless. I think they don't really protect employees as well as they should. And then they fuck other people over for it. And I think they need to be dismantled, especially government unions, because they don't answer to the voters. We're the ones paying for this shit, and they don't answer to us. We need to do something about it. Yeah. Teachers unions, police unions, all of that kind of shit. They protect the worst of the worst that are within the organizations. And
I mean, I didn't have much of a problem with unions until they basically became weaponized political basically political shops for the Democratic Party. Unions in the past, they used to actually, their primary objective was actually helping the worker and not being taken advantage of by the employer. But right now, I mean, we've come to a point where worker exploitation happens so little with respect to unions. It happens basically all in China with Chinese slave labor and Uyghur slave labor. And you don't see that happen nearly as much here in the United States. Now, if they were to introduce unionization over in China, I would imagine that anything that happens over there, I don't know if it would fundamentally change the fabric of that nation, but I can imagine that given how a lot of the people living in China now are very supportive, either by choice or by survival, of the Chinese Communist Party, I don't know if you'd see much of a change, honestly. But I don't know.
Probably not. But the biggest change we saw here are the biggest critics of pharmaceuticals became their biggest dick suckers.
Yeah. So
that's exactly what we saw happen over this time period. That everyone who was rallying against big pharma and stuff are now like their biggest supporters and want to make sure every single one of you guys get their vaccines and makes the government pay for it.
Yeah. Balbert says everybody is in a union in China. This is how communism works. I don't doubt that for a second. One thing I have to say though, and that's just because everyone within, and not everyone, but virtually everyone who is in like a big union, everything that they're pushing for is very much on par with or in line with socialist communist ideals. So again, that's why I say I don't think much will change, because they probably all be very supportive of the CCP.
Well, they would be supportive to save their life. That's exactly what it would be.
Yes,
China,
but also
if we change the rules, see, I don't understand why people think there's free trade and free market going on when we allow our American companies to do business within China. This isn't free market. This isn't free anything. When China isn't playing by the same rules, it's not a free market. It's not.
Right. It's never been. It hasn't been a free market.
Never been.
The biggest mistake, I think our biggest foreign policy mistake of at least the last century was Richard Nixon thinking that opening up the doors to China and introducing capitalism to China was somehow going to change the behavior of the Chinese Communist Party. If anything, it just made them wealthier.
Right. And the thing is that real capitalism doesn't exist in China. Like they say China has a capitalistic economy, but it's not really true.
Doesn't exist.
Half of it, more than half of it goes to the Chinese party. Right. Like that's not, and they have a say on what you're doing in your company. Like they have a legitimate say, vote, and all that kind of stuff on what goes on in your company in China. And most of what they do is to expand and help themselves, and also put more of them their citizens within labor camps and all that kind of stuff. And I think Nike, Apple, all of these American companies that do business in China are involved in human rights violations, according to the Geneva Convention. Any business that is doing business in China, any corporation, is involved in human rights violations as we see it, to live normally as a human. They're violating it within China. Everyone.
So one of the things I need to show you, and this is sort of kind of a complete aside. Did we have anything more to say on this?
Do you?
I don't know. 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 Do you?
I think you're probably more well versed on unions than I am. I just, this is just one of those things where like someone talks about unions and my eyes just immediately glaze over. So, I don't know. I wanted to share this particular thread with you, this particular tweet, because this woman, who is a GOP lawmaker in Rhode Island, I don't know why she decided to tweet this shit out, but she did. Can you see what Can you see this?
It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever read.
Let's zoom in.
So this is
Patricia Morgan. She is the first female minority leader of the Rhode Island House of Representatives, and she's about to tweet about minorities. So just get ready for this. Buckle up. She tweets out, "I had a black friend. I liked her, and I think she liked me too. But now she is hostile and unpleasant. I am sure I didn't do anything to her except be white. Is that what teachers and our political leaders really want for our society? Divide us because of our skin color?" Hashtag CRT. Jay.
This didn't happen. This did not
There's no way this happened. There's no way this happened.
I had a gay friend. I liked him. And he liked me. And then I fucked him in the ass. And never returned his phone calls. And he thinks it's because I don't like him because he's gay. Is this really what our leaders want to do?
Divide us by
dick in the ass?
Normativity. Dick in the ass. Oh my god. Wow, what is this? Was this tweeted out today? Wow, that's been tweeting out.
And it's been deleted.
Number 6, Sage Steele to Black Candace Owens. Oh my god, for those who aren't even familiar, Candace Owens is already black.
That's probably why they deleted it.
That's probably why they deleted it. Speaking of Candace Owens, did you see this? Did you see this video? I'm gonna play it. This is
Oh yes, we got it. We have.
And he believes that because he comes from a generation, like people you oftentimes forget like how old Trump is. He comes from a generation. I've seen other people that are older have the exact same perspective. Like they came from a time before TV, before internet, before being able to conduct their independent research, and everything that they read in a newspaper, if that was pitched to them, like they believed that that was a reality. And one of those things was, you know, this push for vaccines and believing that people were going to die without vaccines. And so I believe that his support of the vaccine is genuine and it's not based in any corruption at all. I think he actually believes those things. And people that are saying, how is he ignoring all the people that are being injured? And, you know, people are sending Rumble videos and all of these, you know, websites, obscure websites. I believe also that he only reads the mainstream media news. Believe it or not, I do not believe that Trump reads or partakes in any other news sources. You know, I don't believe that Trump is on the internet or, you know, that he's necessarily uses like, you know, the web to try to find, you know, obscure websites. I think that he just relies on, you know, typical mainstream sources. So I don't think that there's anything evil going on there. I just wanted to say that because so many donors, supporters of his are kind of like questioning where all of this is coming from. And I think he just genuinely believes that. And he needs to sit down and, you know, have a full conversation with someone. I was interviewing him in that circumstance, but he needs to have a larger conversation to really understand what's going on and why so many people are just horrified.
And that was the white Candace Owens.
Right. And the funny thing is like, she's like, oh, he comes from another generation who reads newspapers. Bitch, he was the president who created the vaccine, who pushed the vaccine, who made it happen. Like, he didn't read some fucking New York Times article that said, oh, the vaccine is great or some shit. No, he pushed that shit. He made it happen. Like, what
absolutely amazes me is like the amount of cope in that video, in the sense that like, oh, just excuse him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He wasn't the head of Operation Warp Speed. He didn't, handle anything with respect to the COVID pandemic. Like, honestly, I don't know if she's actually genuinely saying this. Like, he had nothing to do with any of this stuff. It's like he never ran for president before. Like, that's the level we're talking about. It's like the handling of the kids' gloves. It's crazy. Just watch this response from Alex Jones after he went on after Trump went on Candace Owens. Because I shit you not, I nearly pissed myself watching this.
Is an emergency Christmas Day warning to President Trump. You are either completely ignorant about the so-called vaccine gene therapy that you helped ram through with Operation Warp Speed, or you're one of the most evil men who has ever lived to push this toxic poison on the public and to attack your constituents when they simply try to save their lives and the lives of others. We're about to lay out the basic, incontrovertible facts that what you told Candace Owens just a few days ago is nothing but a raft of dirty lies.
And we say,
I love it. I absolutely love how hard he went. Like, Alex Jones he doesn't give a shit. He will never change his point of view whatsoever, no matter who it is. And
I don't know why the video was frozen. I thought I had uploaded it in full. Maybe I messed it up. But that was a super chat from Sarah Jacobs. Pull it up again. Candace Owens is an enigma wrapped in 1,000 sweater sets. Look, I don't mind independent thinkers, but it sounds like Candace Owens, who was very anti-vax in the beginning of the pandemic, who swore she would never get the
vaccine.
One of the more interesting questions is, did she get vaccinated? Because I want to know if like Trump was the one who convinced her to get vaccinated.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. It really would
be very interesting. Now, this is obviously not, Jay and I are not anti-vax in any way, shape, or form. However, the only way that we are, I mean, Jay, it's not like you and I didn't get vaxxed. We did. The thing is, everything that's happened subsequently to this, with like the boosters and the changing of definitions of whether you're fully vaxxed or not. I mean, I think it's safe to say that Jay, I feel like you and I don't know how you feel, but I definitely feel like I was duped. And, having looked back, obviously hindsight's 2020, and it just so happens to, the irony is not lost on me that all of this happened in 2020, or at least the beginning of 2020, even though the actual virus broke out in 2019. But what's weird is this, that the final dent, or I guess the final nail in the coffin to all of this, is everything that's happened with Omicron, and the fact that it is so contagious. And you see people like Elizabeth Warren, all these Hollywood celebrities all saying they got Omicron and they tested positive for COVID. They're asymptomatic. Some of them have a mild cold, and it's happening at such a crazy level. You have our queen and Jay, I believe. I don't know if you want to do this segment now, but at least we'll talk about it in a few. We have our queen, the queen of all queens, Jen Rubin, 69, tweeting out how
69.
This. Oh, he's got it. Thank you, Spencer. Tweeting out, as we recognize that COVID-19 is not a deadly or even severe disease for the vast majority of responsible Americans, we can stop agonizing over cases. Oh, actually, sorry, Jay. I have to go back and reread it from the beginning in my Jen Rubin voice. As we recognize that COVID-19 is not a deadly or even severe disease for the vast majority of people, of responsible Americans, we can stop agonizing over cases and focus on those who are hospitalized or at risk of dying. How was that? Was that okay?
That was perfect. Perfection. And the funny thing is that there are people who are stating this at the very beginning. I think, honestly, we wasted 2 years. We wasted 2 fucking years. If we only thought this way 2 years ago, everybody. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying, I mean, a lot of us were already thinking this when it was happening.
Right.
And it's like, give people their own responsibility back to themselves. If they don't want to get vaccinated, if they don't want to do what's going to whatever, then they don't have to.
Right.
We don't need to close down or make these other people feel like they're so fearful in their lives that they can't even go outside. And I think a lot of businesses did a good thing in the beginning when they were like, you can work from home. Okay, fine. Businesses that want to do work from home.
This is where it gets me.
And
this is what gets Jay. This is what gets me. Remember all the people who were completely, the people who went against, lockdown orders. They reopened their businesses and they just continue to operate like the pandemic wasn't happening. Remember the people who got arrested and fined and sent to jail because of these arbitrary shutdowns and lockdowns. Like, I don't know how you don't get radicalized. That honestly, like, Jay, this is probably going to tip off the feds, but I would be very surprised if those particular business owners don't storm the Capitol on the 1-year anniversary of January 6th. We're probably going to do it.
I've been practicing on Flight Simulator for January 6th. So I will fly these business owners myself down there. Alhamdulillah. And the thing is, it's like you need, like, the numbers are so vast. And this is just the restaurant industry. Here in California itself, there have been more than 150,000 different restaurants closed down because of this. And it's just in the restaurant industry. I can't imagine how many, small businesses throughout all industries have been closed down because of all of this. And they got no compensation for it. A lot of them got zero compensation for this bullshit.
Right.
For this fucking garbage bullshit. And I honestly think there needs to be class action lawsuit after class action lawsuit going after these fucking people who destroyed lives, destroyed livelihoods, destroyed families, and destroyed mental health, because there's a lot of people out there, especially in New York and California, libs mainly, that are fucking mentally disturbed beyond belief over this shit.
Hey, BB says, Siraj, what's with the Hashmis and your desire to incite my insurrections? Frostbite on Twitch says, Siraj Hashmi, you and Emily are already accused of being terrorists. Now you're tipping off events about potential new ideas. Hey, I'm just saying look, if the feds were not already in tune to potential plots that's going to happen on the 1-year anniversary of January 6th to make it worse, basically, I would not be surprised if there are going to be people out there from both sides, like they're crisis actors, people who particularly are looking to make January 6th worse than it actually was. And I can imagine that the 1-year anniversary, the feds and the intelligence agencies are going to be on high alert about potential plots. And, I'd say a plot is just as likely coming from the left as it is from the right.
And I just think that the FBI is going to try to do something on January 6th. Like,
you can't rule out the feds doing
January
something
6th.
either. Yeah,
you
can't rule out the feds.
Really can't.
You really cannot.
I mean,
the way that these things happen, there's no such thing as coincidences anymore, Jay.
Nope.
There really isn't.
Nope.
So, Faye then says Siraj will show up for the January 6th anniversary insurrection on January 10th. Essentially, I'll wake up at 2 p.m. way after.
100%.
Oh, man.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you
Habibi.
drinking actual bourbon.
Yes. Whatever is left of it, obviously. I had to finish the bottle. So looking at the year back, Khalid says, who had that tweet that said January 6th would have happened on the 7th that Siraj was in charge? Legendary. I'm trying to remember. That was legendary. That was very good.
That was a really, really good
that killed me.
That was fucking hilarious.
That was a good reply.
It was. You texted it to us.
Did I?
You did.
Which group chat though, Jay? I'm in like 69 of them with you. I
know, it's insane how many group chats we are in together.
It's actually kind of scary. So Jay, there was a lot to make of this year, 2021. I think it was a shit year. Obviously, everything that happened starting from January 6th onward was basically it was a most shit year. And Hakirati says, Sir, it was a most shit year. But Jay, I think what the most important, there was a lot of changes happening in 2021. I'd say there was obviously a lot of good things, some difficult things as well. What was your favorite moment of the year?
I think my favorite moment of the year was seeing people revolt against the status quo. We see more and more people come together to fight against things like CRT, to fight against things that are the mandates, the narrative of what COVID is, and what we're supposed to do in society because of it. And also, I think we have seen more and more people see how full of fucking shit the corporate media is. And I hope more and more people see it for what it is. A complete propaganda machine for the government. Be it Fox when other people are involved, or be it the MSNBC or CNN now, that is exactly what they are. And also, I hope, it's what I've been seeing, is that more people have been seeing that government isn't here to help you. Also, HabibiCon was a lot of fun.
HabibiCon was a lot of fun.
We did HabibiCon 2021?
21.
Not 2020?
Yeah, we did.
Did we really? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
2021 has really been it felt like so long that I felt like there was 3 or 4 different years within 2021.
So 2021, I left my job. I left the Washington Examiner in March. I moved down to Florida. I lost friends and gained other friends, all because of stupid ass politics. And let's see. I mean, it was a tough year for me, but I think over the course of the year, I learned a lot about myself and how I deal with adversity. And I find myself better equipped with stress. And this was a stressful year, way more stressful than 2020. So it was, I'm excited for next year because, maybe I'll actually get my shit together. Inshallah.
I think you will. Inshallah you will.
Inshallah. The list did well. I joined every single platform known to man. We signed the deal with Rumble.
We did. We signed a deal with Rumble.
Let's see what else. Ernie lost weight. Oh, I brought Ernie to the vet today. He lost from when he moved down to Florida in August 2021. He was like 14.4 pounds or 14.2. Brought him to the vet today because he was having GI issues. He's fine now. He has like acid reflux. He'll be okay. We just have to give him some food before bed so he doesn't have like a buildup of bile in his stomach. He lost 2 pounds in the last 4 months. So he's now down to 12.2 pounds. I'm very proud of him, and he's a very happy, healthy boy. So
that's great. That's really great.
Yeah,
and
really
yes,
good.
we got Spencer as our intern, which was great.
Yeah. Speaking of Burn, let me go get him right now.
Go get him.
I'm gonna go get him. It's Earn time.
Go get Earn.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Hell yeah. As he does that, I will read any questions that come up. There was one from Danielle. Habibis will gather without Siraj today. Will there be? I mean, there wouldn't be a Habibi Con without me and Siraj there. And we are planning for a Habibi Con next year for 2022. And I hope we can get something going sometime around June or July. And once we get more once we have more information for you guys, we'll be sending it out to everybody, and hopefully we can get more people out to it than we did for the very first Habibi Con, which was great. I think we had a great one. It was a lot of fun.
Here he is. Oh, I'm out of focus.
Blake BB. Jay, how's the bourbon, Habibi? The bourbon is absolutely fucking delicious. Angel's Envy is probably one of the best bourbons you can get between the $30 to $50 range. It's so good. It really is.
Very good. Here's our president, President Earn. He's here. And let's see. I'm very excited to get 2022 off to a great start. We got a lot of good things in the works. Jay's schedule freed up tremendously. So that means we're going to get back into premium episodes. Hey, remember those? Premium episodes.
The premium episodes on Patreon.
On Patreon, where you could sign up on patreon.com/Habibi Bros. You got a lot of cool guests that we're gonna be bringing on to kick off the new year. So stay tuned for that. We don't want it to be all gloom and doom, because ultimately there are a lot of, there's a lot of weird shit, a lot of bad shit happening in the world. But we wanted to introduce this new segment of ours, in which, Jay and I honor a Gahba of the week and a Habibi of the week. Now, the Gahba is obviously in a very negative sense. Habibi, obviously, a very positive sense. And everyone, it could literally anyone can be it for the week. So, Jay, who is your Gahba of the week?
So my Gahba of the week, it comes after the death of Madden, and it's Empty Will, John Madden, and Empty Will isn't the first one to come with these stupid fucking takes afterwards. But she tweeted, "Everyone utilizing Madden should write how many concussions could have prevented had he not turned brain injuries into a video game." And this is fucking stupid as shit, because the game of football didn't create brain damage, and it was a thing not known for quite some time, and especially brain damage doesn't happen through a fucking video game. It doesn't.
Right.
If I'm tackling somebody in Madden, I'm not causing any kind of brain damage. And it comes to a other thought of it is, okay, do you want to take the right away from all of these athletes from making millions of dollars, knowing exactly what the fuck they're getting into? Mm-hmm. There isn't a athlete out there within the NFL that doesn't know the shit they're going to get themselves into for the $1 million paychecks that they get.
Now, for those of you who have never watched, who are completely unfamiliar with the terminology, Gahba, what does it mean in Arabic, Jay?
So Gahba in Arabic, it means two things. It can mean whore or it can mean bitch, depending on the user and how they're saying it. When I say it, when I call people Gahba on Twitter, I mean it as whore. And when I say that they're the son of a Gahba or a daughter of a Gahba, I mean their mother is a fucking whore.
So Brian Stelter?
What did you say?
Brian Stelter, 100%.
Essentially. My Gahba of the week is Keith Olbermann, who tweeted this out in response to Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, who really isn't obviously a popular senator from Utah, tweeted out, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth, peace, goodwill toward men. From my family to yours, Merry Christmas." And look at that, big family photo. And Keith Olbermann tweets out, "Someone gift these people some vasectomies," which is, God, Keith somehow getting me to defend Mitt Romney. I mean, what the shit?
Right? It's amazing. It's so
he's a Gahba. He's a Gahba solely by virtue of that.
Well, that and also his very existence. He is just trying to live up to the same standard of his mother of being a Gahba.
I believe Spencer actually has a Gahba of the week, and that is his pick is Dr. Andrew McGregor. And he tweets out, "I have lots of opinions on John Madden. The creation of the Madden video game was not a great development for the U.S. It further glamorized violence and dehumanized black athletes, helping to establish plantation cosplay that has grown worse in the era of fantasy football." What the fuck? These people have to be a parody.
What is he even saying? I mean, fantasy football, we don't even do or play anything with them. Like in fantasy football, nothing happens to the players. Nothing. They don't get a cut. They don't get paid. Nothing happens to them whatsoever in fantasy football, unless he's talking about football in general, where they have their own agency in order to do it. And what's really hilarious, and I think I quote tweeted his fucking tweet, his own tweet, is that within United States sports industry, it has created more black millionaires and billionaires in this day and age, more so than slavery has. And people don't notice, but slavery had created a lot of wealthy black people who sold slaves within that time period. But they don't want to talk about it.
Jay, I missed
But
like half
in
of that
this
because I am
day and
starting to
age,
really feel it right now.
I know you are. But this day and
Yeah.
age, black athletes and black people have made millions, and some of them have made billions because of the industry we're in right now.
Hey, capitalism works, Habibi. Capitalism works. Capitalism works. All right, Jay, who's your Habibi of the week?
Not more. Look, not
Hold on,
more
hold on.
black
No,
million.
hold on,
No,
hold
no,
on,
no,
hold
no,
on.
no,
Go back to
no,
that,
no,
Damon.
no, no.
Go
Wait,
back
wait.
to that,
Damien.
Go
Damien
back to
likes.
that.
He likes to
Sports created more
smear.
black millionaires than slavery. How drunk is Jay?
That's not what I said. I said
Jay,
American sports industry has made a lot of black millionaires and black billionaires, and more than slavery has. Yes, because
but that's
slavery
hold on. Why
make
bring slavery? Yeah, why bring slavery into this? Oh, because he brought slavery into it, right?
No, I did. I brought slavery into it because I was saying that slavery did make black people rich. It made a few black people rich within Africa.
You're talking about the black people
slaves.
that actually. Oh, you're talking about black people who were engaged in the slave trade.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. That took me a second.
I know it did. But Damien is over there living in New York,
Yeah. Imagine living in New York City. Imagine living in New York City. Mayo either versus ass either. Round one fight. Imagine not living in New York City with that Brooklyn lib Mayo dad pizza fiant. Now, Jay, who's your Habibi of the week?
I'm sorry, but this is right because I am like half drunk.
Matt Cott says, Jay, that is not what I said. 2 seconds later, that is what I said. Every single time with Jay.
Oh God, it's so
people
good.
are gonna lose. People are gonna lose their shit when they see who you're.
I'm losing my shit right now. So
right.
My Habibi of the week is Jen Rubin, because one, Jen Rubin, you need to come on to the show, and two, you should see my quote tweet on this tweet. On this tweet itself, my quote tweet on it is fucking amazing. But my Habibti of the week is Jennifer with this take that should have been 18 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
It's fucking insane.
It's Jen Rubin for tweeting out, as you recognize that COVID-19 is not a deadly or even severe disease for the vast majority of responsible Americans. Hold on. I got to go back and read it in my Pakistani Desi voice. As we recognize that COVID-19 is not a deadly or even severe disease for the vast majority of responsible Americans, we can stop agonizing over cases and focus on those who are hospitalized or at risk of dying. Mashallah. You wanna know my Habibi of the week?
Why is it that they do it like this when they're making a point?
Because hands are hands.
You got to do the head too.
You have to do the head. Sir, talk to the hand. Talk, hand. Hand talk. Okay, sir. My Habibi of the week, and if you haven't seen it, is Michelle Tamler.
Or that whole thread.
The whole thread. I could go through it. I'll read some of it. But let me start off from the beginning. Here is what confuses me about San Francisco. We have the most liberal left-wing government and population in the country. We have a $13 billion budget, and we have 8,000 people sleeping in the rain this week. Can someone please explain this to me? She goes on to say, what do progressives stand for exactly? I thought it was about making things more fair, about standing up for the little guy, about human rights, equality, equity, compassion. San Francisco, to me, looks like the least compassionate city on the planet. The slums of Mumbai look cleaner than the streets of downtown SF. This isn't just the Tenderloin. It's Soma, parts of the Mission, Dog Patch. We have thousands of people wandering around looking like they are on the brink of death. This is why people use the term zombie. I've been a registered Democrat for 18 years. I grew up in a progressive family, went to a progressive school, and have mostly progressive friends. Yet what I see in SF is this. If this is what progressive stands for, I want the opposite. The words used here, harm reduction, housing first, criminal justice, social justice, equity, they don't align with what I'm seeing at all. Our strategy might as well be called harm increased, housing last, victim injustice, social injustice, unfairness. Yesterday, I went for a drive in the rain. This is what is happening in San Francisco right now. I'm sorry to force readers of this thread to bear witness to this, but I think it's important to acknowledge what we are all ignoring. If you saw those photos of basically these pop-up tents of where some homeless people are living in.
Driving through LA, it looks exactly like that too. Yeah. It's fucking insane.
Where's our $13 billion going exactly? How do we only have 3,000 shelter beds when 8,000 are unsheltered in the streets? How is this an American city? Yeah, you look at this and you think this can't happen in America. Well, it's happening. I just finished this. It's Habibi, it's happening. I just finished the book San Francisco. If you care about San Francisco, if you care about cities, if you care about America, give it a read. Some people were trying to criticize her for pushing this out, saying it's like her book, but it's not, which is weird.
It's not. It's Michael. What's his name?
Schellenberger. Yeah. Then she continues, I'm starting to develop a seriously dark view of the progressive politicians in charge of our town. I just want to get to the point, and then I won't read the rest. They have absolute power, act like a regime, and talk often of how broken the system is. Are the homeless their foot soldiers, mascots, mercenaries? You have to wonder, with the funds we have as a city, state, and nation, is this situation on purpose? We saw what SF was capable of when the pandemic hit. We had testing sites up in days, hotels converted into shelter, funds flowing, yet here we are. Is this nefarious? And this is the point I wanted to make. Progressives tend to blame Republicans for almost everything. Yet here we are, not a Republican in sight, and I think we may be the most deranged city on the planet. Nowhere is there such inequality. I've never seen destitution at this scale. Now, that is obviously a pretty wild thread. You should definitely give it a read if you have a chance to. I mean, Jay, you live just outside Los Angeles. How destitute is over there?
No, it's horrible. I mean, they spend billions of dollars a year in order to fight homelessness, and it isn't getting better. It's getting much, much worse. And they have really nothing to show for it. They have nothing to say. If you ever go to any of these hearings or any of these speeches where you have the administrators for homelessness within California trying to speak of what they're doing for homelessness, it's really, really horrible. It's so bad to just sit there and hear them talk about it because they're not doing shit. And everything they're talking about really makes no sense. It's just garbage. It's just garbage. And California is a warning to the rest of the United States. It really is.
Yeah. So that is she's probably getting red pilled right in front of her face. I love this comment from Rumble. Men of Prop says, never trust the Muzzy. Well, you're tuning in right now. Are you trusting a Muzzy yet? Bound to happen.
It's bound to.
Don't worry, we'll get you one way or another.
We're pushing Sharia 100% of the way.
Essentially, 100%.
Jihad is on the menu for 2022.
Inshallah,
get ready.
Inshallah. Their hearts will open to it eventually, Jack. It really will.
Inshallah.
But yeah, some people in the comments are saying, "Oh, should we have someone who's a Habibi of the, someone who's actually within the community be Habibi of the week?" And the answer for that is, when we dunk on you on Twitter, you'll know you've made it. Right, Damon? Dirty lib.
Damon, Steve, like there's a lot. There's a lot. Dan, fucking, we've dunked on a lot of people. And honestly, a Habibi can be a Habibi of the week. But I think when we were talking about like Gappa of the week and Habibi of the week, we're talking about a take within either Twitter or on social media as general. That's where we're taking it, because we all know the dunks Faye does on Siraj makes her the Habibi eternally.
Prison Mitch says last time they did an actual Habibi of the month, Siraj started an insurrection. Yeah, so do we really want to do that? Janesy Styles says nobody ever dunks on me. Don't worry. I did say your name was Jane, even though you're a man. So is that not a dunk?
Oh wait, Jane is a man? Why am I getting a hard on then?
Yeah, I know, right? Anyways, Jay, let's see what we got here. So, any New Year's resolutions for 2022?
Yes, Habibis. Show it. Tell us your New Year's resolutions for 2022.
What are your New Year's resolutions? If you're still thinking about them, think about it. We will take submissions this week and our next show for your New Year's resolutions, what you're focusing on, and what you want to change, what you want to, what you think you did this year that you want to keep doing. For me, Jay, it is drinking more bourbon, inshallah.
Inshallah. I will make sure you're able to do it.
Inshallah. Hakira says Siraj's New Year resolution is 240p as always. I actually am looking at
another camera.
I actually am looking, to update all my shit. Prospect says I don't have New Year's resolutions. It just feels like an excuse to put off improvement. That is a Chad mentality right there. Janet says I resolve to haunt you every waking moment for my earned postcard. By God, don't worry, Habibi, you'll get it.
It's coming.
So close.
I think he finally actually got him. No? Yeah, maybe not.
Close. Faye says, I love how Siraj and Jay think they added a cute new segment and it turns the Habibis into the Lord of the Flies. Basically. So now we enter our final segment, and that is Ask Us Anything. Go ahead, send your New Year's resolutions, but also ask us any questions. Our favorite segment. Janice says, show me the postcard. There's one step that I have to do in order before I get
it. That's pay for them.
I mean, obviously that, but I mean like the what's it called? I have to get a P.O. box first. Yes. Dan Wants Pizza. Dan Wants Pizza says, thank you for the super chat, Habibi. A very, very nice super chat says, this year was much rougher than most, but I'm glad to be part of this community. Here's to hoping that Blake will resign and the earned postcards will go out before 2022 is over. Cheers, Habibis. Now get a better camera, you boomer lib. Cheers, Habibi.
Inshallah. Cheers, Habibi.
If you didn't tune in to the Dan Wants Pizza's Twitch stream last night, we were shooting up some zombies. It was a fun time.
It was. I had a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed that. I'll have to do it again.
Inshallah.
Bean Dude, aka Nate Beebe, says, talk about having some Habibis plan HabibiCon, you lib. Inshallah, they will be planning it as soon as I send out the earned postcards.
No worries. We will be planning it with some Habibis, I promise.
Yes, very soon. Blake By says, thoughts on the remarks Joe Biden said this week that this new COVID surge needs to be solved at the state level. Didn't he say that he was going to shut down the virus? First of all, Blake, you need to resign. Secondly, I agree that it actually needs to be solved at the state level, and it's probably the one good thing that Joe Biden did as president. And the only reason The only thing that he should have done is do it a lot sooner and never try the campaign on this idea that he was going to shut down the virus, because that just looks like a bunch of empty rhetoric, and that's exactly what it was. And the fact that he's sort of walking away from it, while it's he handled it very poorly because it makes him look weak, especially to all his critics and detractors like us, Jay. But at the same time, like if he just took that approach from the beginning and said that was going to be his approach, rather than kind of resign himself to being like, oh, this needs to be handled at the States. You know, sometimes it's not the way you do things. Sometimes it's not what you do, but the way you do them.
Right.
Right.
No, it's exactly right. And that's what he did this whole time. He was like, he was telling states to get out of his way. He was telling governors to get out of his way, let
get out of the way.
mandates go through it and all that kind of stuff. And
crazy.
Keenan 8787 coming in with civilian life as I'm medically retiring from the army after 16 years.
Takbir.
Allah Akbar.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Cheers to you, Kenan. Let's see. What else we got on here? Daniel says, Jay is slurring, drink water. Oh, Jay, that means you need some beer. Right?
Yes, I need beer.
Does Spencer have any improvement plans to avoid getting fired weekly, says Frostbite, or asks Frostbites?
Yes, daily.
Daily. Carl Ferris says, how many more paragraphs can Blake post before YouTube flags him for spam? Drag his ass, King. Faye BB says, thanks, Siraj and Jay, for another year of Habibidom. I know I'm not the only one who appreciates interacting with some relatively sane people during these crazy times. Wishing all a great 2022. Thank you, Faye BB. Appreciate your guidance and continual dunking on me and sometimes Jay, but mostly me. It's been fun. Look, this show continues to get better because it's the one thing I look forward to besides the list, in that it's like the one thing you can control, right? Even though the show is wholly out of control. Just the fact that you and I, Jay, kind of have this thing together. It's this thing of ours. It's our baby, and to see it grow, it's been pretty rewarding. Elcio says, Habibi Bros, when will you come to Brazil?
When we know we won't get shot.
Yeah. Well, probably when Glenn Greenwald smuggles us in there.
Oh, honestly, that's the only time I would go. If
he invited us down, probably if he smuggled us down there,
I would go and stay at his place.
Daniel G says, so I can keep my dumb shit of the week crown if we're doing Habibi Kobbe? No, actually, we have that still. Let's go check it out. What was our dumb shit of the week?
It was Habibi Kobbe, you fucking asshole, because you changed it.
I didn't change it, Jay. I did not change it. We're just adding a new segment. That's all.
Okay. Where is the dumb shit of the week?
Spencer's pulling it up. Any day now, Spencer.
Oh, okay, right here. It's the political rights about Republicans. I have it right here.
The Politico article.
Yeah, about the Republic. They're trying to downplay.
Let me share it. I could share it on my
parents' concerns over.
Yeah, you're drunk as shit. Let me read it. Politico writes on the tweet, Republicans across America are pressing local jurisdictions and state lawmakers to make typically sleepy school board races into politicized partisan elections in an attempt to gain more statewide control and swing them to victory in the 2022 midterms. They're saying it's sleepy. Why, Jay? It's because it was never supposed to be an issue, right?
Yeah, it was never
because the libs had them under control. And when the libs had them under control, everything was going gravy until the pandemic happened. Everyone's like, wait, what the fuck are my kids learning in school?
Exactly.
When they're, these parents are listening in on these Zoom classes at home. That was, I mean, if there's any benefit to the pandemic, silver linings, this is one of them. It's making parents who were previously completely oblivious to what their kids were learning in school, aware of what their kids were learning. And finally causing these school board races to actually become contentious, which is honestly an area I feel like Republicans do better when it comes to local voting or local races than Democrats usually do.
Yes, and bringing parents into the game, I think, is a very smart idea because they really care about their kids, and we saw that in Virginia.
Right?
We did.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Really saw that in Virginia, and Virginia is and has been blue for the longest time, where they thought that it was like another California, like there was no real place to shift the politics within it. They were always going to vote one way. And I hope and I wish that you're going to see Democrats push the same narrative as they did with Virginia, that saying parents' concerns are just fucking stupid. They're not really something to look into. And I think they're really going to play this. I really think they're going to play this fucking message all through 2022, trying to showcase parents.
Before we get to Anthony Rivera's comment, there's one other tweet that I want to highlight, and that is from Maxine Bernstein. I have this right here. Oh, well, actually, Spencer's got it. And that is Oregon father of 4 who told President Biden, "Let's go, Brandon," on Christmas Eve's call, said he meant it in jest. Now, this whole sort of blow up over the whatever the shit it is, the "Let's go, Brandon" chant. Look, I don't understand why people care one way or the other. And the fact that President Biden actually responded pretty well to it, like, he's like, yeah, let's go, let's go, Brandon. I agree. Like, even libs are being like, let's go, Brandon, but in it all depends on what you mean by it, right? Some people say, let's go, Brandon. They mean fuck Joe Biden. Some people say, let's go, Brandon, like, let's go, Biden, or something like that. Like, the libs try to repurpose it. It's just.
They did, and it didn't work.
And it didn't work. So the fact that they're responding to it like this, saying like, how dare you say fuck you to the president? It's just one of the, this is the same group of people who were literally screaming fuck Trump in the streets. And it drives me nuts. Here, hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to get upstairs.
No, Anthony, you do take priority. I'm going to put it up once he gets back. Because I want to make sure you get the attention of both of us.
Yeah. So I want to make one thing clear, Jay. I want to make one thing clear. So Anthony's comment.
Priority.
I know he never takes priority. This is what Anthony Rivera says. Will you play the vaccine song for us one last time? All right. So this is going to be the final time. Okay. If you want to hear any other time after this, sorry, tough shit. We're going to do it on Twitch streams, but we're not going to do it on Habibi Power anymore. This is the final time you'll ever hear the vaccine song. After this, it's going to be only vaccine songs that won't get us demonetized. Okay? I'm only doing this for you, Anthony, because you're so nice about it. Literally.
Got the vaccine, you got the vaccine, they got the vaccine, we got the vaccine. We can get back to normal, let me inform you, let's all get the vaccine. It's about community immunity. I'm talking unity for you and me. Yeah. If Doc says it's good, then trust me, it's good. Now let's all get the vaccine. Alright. There is none higher. DMC. I will inspire. Time for us to trust and not debate. The vaccine, believe it's safe to take. 9 out of 10 people won't get sick. That's 90% effective and legit. This COVID thing is real and it will find you. It's killing our people. Let me remind you. Back in the days, there was polio, smallpox. Back in the days, measles and mumps, man. Back in the days, but because of the vaccines, none of those saved. Vaccines, they work to trigger immunity. 2 shots, we got antibody security. We gotta act now. No need to wait. Get your vaccine before it's too late. For real.
They says Siraj saying every time he plays the vaccine song is the very last time is like that chick who keeps banging a guy she's ashamed of, but she can't quit.
Because the dick is too good.
Yeah. Anthony Rivera says potential guest for premium episodes next year. We gotta host the names, but we're gonna keep that to the vest right now because we want to surprise y'all. So get ready for that. If anything, we'll hit you up in the Habibi premium chat, platinum chat and above. So what we got, Sheikh Habibi and Platinum Habibis. People who can watch that shit live. People who can watch it, pretty soon after. Anyways, basically, we got a lot planned for you. I'm very excited about it. I'd say, Jay, if we were gonna play the vaccine song in 2022, for that particular song, because it would get us demonetized, we're gonna have to commission a fee, and I think $69.69 is gonna have to be that fee at the very least.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Mary says just came in from Tennessee connection with Spotty. Just wanted to say fell in love with so many Habibis and Habibtis. Good luck with the terrible twos in 22. Happy New Year, everyone. Yes, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all. Happy New Year, Mary. Happy New Year, Jay. Happy New Year, Spencer. Happy New Year, Ben.
Happy New Year, Mom.
Happy New Year, Ern. Happy New Year,
Happy New Year,
Habibis.
Ern. Happy New
Chris Duke
Year.
said you've already had Joe Biden on. Who else are you planning on having? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We'll probably get we might get a councilman if he resigns first. So, Habibis, with 2021 in the rear view mirror, we say so long and kus amok to 2021. 2022 is going to be the year of Sharia. We love you all, and we hope to see you on the other side of the new year. Hope you all have a safe and very happy new year. Stay safe, of course. Don't drink too much bourbon. Don't do anything that Jay would do, or I would do. But definitely do something Ern would do, which is take a dump in my shoes.
And eat ass.
Spencer, get in here. Spencer, sign off for 2021.
See you guys. That's all.
Thanks for your help, Spencer. Go work this year. Even though you should be sacked and fired every single day, week and month.
I should be.
Yeah,
I am.
Absolutely.
He is eventually, essentially 100%. Did you get merch, by the way? Did you finally get merch?
Yeah, I got the sweatshirt.
It's not up yet.
I don't have the shirt
yet.
Oh,
you did?
Oh, you got the sweatshirt. Good.
Yeah,
good.
I got the shirt. Shirt's next.
Excellent. All right, Spencer, get the hell out of here. You're fired. Sacked. For the Habibi Bros, I'm Siraj Hashmi.
I'm Mujahed Kobbe.
And we're the Habibi Bros. Thank you for joining us for Habibi Power Hour in 2021. We'll see all of y'all Habibis in 2022. Peace. Masalama.